Imagine this. Right now, as you're listening, there are tiny, tiny pieces of plastic circulating inside your body.
And we don't just mean in your gut.
No, we're talking about your bloodstream, your lungs, your liver, and, based on the very newest research, maybe even in the tissue of your brain.
This isn't science fiction. It's not some far-off future problem. This is happening right now.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is, well, I think it's essential. We're going to unpack what these microplastics are.
How they got there.
Yes, how they manage to get into our bodies so completely and what the potential consequences are, but most importantly,
What you can actually do about it.
right, we want to give you practical, high-impact steps to reduce your own exposure starting today.
And maybe let's start with an image to really grasp the scale of this.
Okay.
The current research suggests that the average person, globally, ingests about 5 grams of plastic a week.
5 grams, that sounds
Yeah.
abstract. What does 5 grams of plastic actually look like?
It's about the weight of a standard credit card.
You're saying we are eating a credit card every week.
That's the equivalent, yes, every 7 days. It shows this has moved beyond just an environmental problem. It's now an internal biological one.
That puts it in perspective. Okay, so let's define the threat. We're not talking about a piece of a plastic bag you can see.
Not at all. We're talking about microplastics, which are fragments smaller than 5 millimeters. Think smaller than a sesame seed.
But it gets even smaller than that, right?
It does. The real concern for researchers are the nanoplastics. These are so incredibly small you can only see them with an electron microscope.
And that tiny size is what lets them behave almost like molecules inside our bodies.
Precisely. And the fact that we even know this is very, very new.
So this isn't old science.
No, the big alarm bell really sounded in 2022. There was a study from the Netherlands.
What do they find?
They took blood samples and found measurable plastic particles, not just traces, but measurable amounts, in the blood of 80% of the people they tested.
80%. That is staggering. And what kind of plastic was it?
It was the usual suspects, PET, which is what water bottles are made of,
Okay.
polystyrene from food packaging, and polyethylene, which is basically plastic bags. But then the 2024 findings, they took this to a whole new level of concern.
Because they found plastics crossing barriers we thought were safe.
Exactly. In 2024, one study found microplastics in 100% of human testicle samples.
100%.
They've also been found in placentas, which is a clear sign that they are passing from mother to the developing fetus.
And the most shocking one,
The one that really stunned the scientific community? They found microplastics in human brain tissue for the first time.
plastic in the brain. That
Oh.
suggests it's getting past the blood-brain barrier.
It does. That barrier is our last line of defense for the central nervous system.
So if these nanoplastics are getting through,
It opens up a whole new field of questions about neurological inflammation and, well, potential long-term damage, even if we don't have all the answers yet.
so how does a plastic bottle or grocery bag get this small and this everywhere?
It's mostly two processes. The first is just fragmentation, A bottle gets into the environment and the sun, the waves, physical wear and tear, it just breaks it down into smaller and smaller pieces.
Over decades.
Right. But the second way is much more immediate. It happens right in our homes.
You're talking about our clothes?
I am? Your synthetic clothing, polyester, nylon, acrylic, it sheds thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands, of tiny fibers every single time you wash it.
And those fibers are too small for water treatment plants to filter out.
Almost all of them, yes. So they go straight into our rivers and oceans, and then back into the food chain, or even the air we breathe.
And you mentioned another huge source that people just don't think about.
Car tires.
Right.
Just from normal driving, tires wear down and release enormous amounts of microplastic particles into the air and onto the road, which then get washed into our water systems. It's a massive, constant source of pollution.
Okay, so they're everywhere. Let's talk about how they get inside us. The 3 main routes.
Ingestion, inhalation, and skin absorption, though we know the least about that last one. Let's start with ingestion, which is what most people think of.
Through our food. Seafood is the one everyone points to, especially shellfish.
Right, because filter feeders like mussels and oysters are constantly pulling in water, and because we eat them, whole digestive system and all,
You're eating everything they filtered.
you're getting a very concentrated dose of whatever was in that water, much more than you'd get from just eating the muscle tissue of a fish.
But it's not just seafood, is it? It's much more fundamental than that.
It is. They've been found in table salt, in honey, beer, even sugar. Fruits and vegetables can absorb them from the soil and water they're grown in.
So even a healthy vegan diet isn't safe.
No diet is immune, but the biggest paradox for a lot of people is bottled water.
You think you're making a healthy choice buying clean water,
And one major study found that bottled water had, on average, 325 plastic particles per liter.
which is more than tap water.
Often, yes. The bottle itself is literally shedding particles into the water you're about to drink. The packaging is the problem.
That one fact alone is reason to make a change. Okay, let's move to the second route, inhalation. This one feels sneakier.
It is. We breathe in tens of thousands of these particles every year. Most of it comes from household dust.
Which is full of fibers from our carpets, our furniture, our clothes.
Exactly. And then there's urban air pollution, which we already mentioned with car tires.
You even mentioned the new car smell.
Yes, that smell is a mix of volatile organic compounds and, you guessed it, microplastics off-gassing from the dashboard, the seats, all the plastic in the interior.
So on a hot day, you're just breathing that in.
You are. And the issue with inhalation is how these particles bypass our defenses.
So larger dust particles get caught in your nose, in mucus.
Right. But the nanoplastics are just too small. They go right past all that, deep into the lungs, into the alveoli.
And from there,
From there, they can cross directly into the bloodstream. And once they're in the blood, they can travel anywhere. The liver, kidneys, and yes, the brain and the placenta.
so we've established they're getting in and they're staying in. Now we have to talk about the physiological impact. And we should be clear, the research is new, but what we're seeing is concerning.
That's the critical caveat. We don't have 30 years of data on this, but we can see two immediate threats: physical damage and chemical toxicity.
Let's start with the physical part. These aren't smooth little beads, are they?
No, not at all. Under a microscope, they are jagged, irregular, like tiny shards of glass or shrapnel.
So their physical presence alone causes a problem.
It causes chronic irritation and inflammation. Your cells try to deal with this foreign object they can't break down, and it creates stress. We've already seen evidence of this inflammation around particles found in human lung tissue.
And then there's the chemical side, which might be even worse.
I think it is. Plastic isn't just a polymer. It's a cocktail of chemical additives. Plasticizers, flame retardants, UV stabilizers, BPA, phthalates.
And many of those are known endocrine disruptors. Can you just break down what that means?
Of course. Your endocrine system is your hormone system. It's how your body sends messages. These chemicals can either mimic your natural hormones, sending the wrong signal, or they can block the real hormones from doing their job.
So they're scrambling your body's communication network.
A perfect way to put it. And the consequences are linked to all sorts of things: reproductive issues, developmental problems, metabolic disorders. It's a huge deal.
And it's not just the chemicals they're made with. They also pick things up.
Yes, this is the toxic cocktail effect. Microplastics act like little sponges in the environment. They soak up and concentrate other pollutants, heavy metals, pesticides, bacteria.
So when you ingest the plastic particle,
You're ingesting everything it's absorbed along the way in a concentrated dose. It's a delivery system for other toxins.
when you look at all of this, the ingestion, the inhalation, which route are scientists most worried about right now?
I would say inhalation is the highest priority, simply because of the direct pathway for nanoplastics to enter the bloodstream and reach the brain. We have more control over what we eat, but we have to breathe the air around us.
I understand that hearing all of this can feel, well, completely overwhelming.
It can. It's a lot.
But this is the point where we pivot. We can't just be panicked. We have to be empowered. We can use this information to reduce our risk.
Absolutely. This is about empowerment, not paralysis. And we have a lot of control, especially inside our own homes.
Okay, let's start in the kitchen. We already know bottled water is a big problem.
So the first most powerful step is to filter your tap water. Get a good quality carbon filter, or even better, a reverse osmosis system. And, this is key, drink from glass or stainless steel. Ditch the plastic bottles for good.
On food storage, this one is huge.
Never, ever microwave your food in a plastic container.
Even if it says microwave safe.
Especially then, heat dramatically increases the rate that chemicals like BPA and phthalates leach out of the plastic and into your food.
So switch to glass containers for storing and reheating leftovers.
Yes. And another easy swap. Get rid of your plastic cutting board. As you chop, you're slicing off tiny plastic fragments right into your meal. Use wood or bamboo instead.
What about hot drinks? I heard something about tea bags.
Many of them are sealed with polypropylene plastic. When you steep that in boiling water, it releases millions of particles. The simple fix is loose leaf tea with a metal infuser.
Okay, that covers ingestion. Let's tackle inhalation, which you said is the top priority.
It's all about air quality. Household dust is loaded with microfibers, so you need to vacuum and dust regularly, but with one crucial detail. Your vacuum must have a HEPA filter.
Why is that so important?
A standard vacuum just captures the big stuff. It actually shoots the smallest, most dangerous nanoplastics right back out into the air. A HEPA filter is designed to trap those microscopic particles.
So you're actually cleaning the air instead of just redistributing the problem.
Precisely. And adding a standalone air purifier with a HEPA filter, especially in your bedroom, is another really powerful move.
Let's talk about the source of a lot of those fibers, our clothes.
This is a big one. The best thing you can do is prioritize natural fibers: cotton, wool, linen, silk. They don't shed microplastics.
But we all own synthetic clothes. What do we do with what we already have?
There are two great options. You can use something called a guppy friend bag, which is a special laundry bag that catches the fibers. Or you can install a filter directly onto your washing machine's outlet hose.
And just washing less often in colder water also helps.
It really does. All of these individual choices add up, and they send a market signal.
Which brings us to the bigger picture. Individual action is critical, but we're up against a mountain of plastic.
We truly are. We've made 8.3 billion tons of plastic in about 70 years, and something like 91% of it has never been recycled.
And production is set to double.
It's projected to double by 2040. This isn't a problem that's going away.
So this has to be about more than just personal choice. It has to be about policy.
It does. We need policies like extended producer responsibility, which makes the companies that make the plastic financially responsible for dealing with it at the end of its life.
Which gives them a very strong incentive to use less of it or find better alternatives.
Exactly.
And it feels like we are all part of a huge unintentional experiment. We don't have all the long-term data yet on what this means for our health.
We don't. But we have more than enough information to act defensively. The goal isn't perfection, which is impossible. It's awareness and gradual, steady improvement.
So what's the final thought you want to leave everyone with, the one challenge?
The challenge is this. Don't get overwhelmed. Just pick 3 things from our conversation today and commit to doing them this month.
Just 3.
Just 3. Maybe it's switching to a glass water bottle. Maybe it's buying a HEPA filter for your vacuum. Maybe it's replacing your plastic food containers. Start small, build momentum, and talk about it. Share this information. That's how we build the pressure for the big systemic changes we so desperately need.